ADA assessments generally start with the parking lot, measuring the width of parking spaces and access aisles, also measuring the slopes and cross slopes of the access aisles and the accessible parking spaces. Measuring of slopes and cross slopes is done with a digital level, giving accurate readings of the percent of slope, also measuring accessible parking signs to make sure they're at the right height. Upon entering a building, we take a look at the doors. In this case, they're automatic, so there's nothing to do. They're wide. Now we will measure the front counter for height and for width to make certain that it is accessible for people in wheelchairs. Also measure hall widths, sizes of doors, measure the countertops, and this happens to be in the break room, to make sure they're accessible. You want to measure door width to make sure it's accessible for a wheelchair. We check fire alarms to make sure they're visual as well as audible. Measure coat racks to make sure they are within the reach range of a wheelchair. Checking bathroom signs for the tactile and the braille. Checking vending machines to make sure they're within the 48-inch reach range for a person in a wheelchair. Measure the center height of the signs. Also measuring drinking fountains to make sure they're properly set for a person in a wheelchair. Measuring urinals to make sure they're the proper height. Make sure we have enough knee clearance as well as the top of the sink not being too high. Measuring bathroom door widths for wheelchairs. Also measuring grab bars to make sure that there's a proper clearance, not too much between the wall and the grab bar. Check for length and the proper height for mounting. Also checking the door width to make sure it is accessible for a wheelchair. Although automatic or power-assisted doors are not required by the ADA, they're a great idea for any business. It helps anyone and everyone to be able to enter and exit safely and easily. Well, this is the ADAG, or Americans with Disabilities Act Accessibility Design Manual for 2010. It gives us all the specs for anything we need to know: parking spaces, ramps, doorways, weights, widths, heights of sinks, mirrors, counters. Just about anything you want to know is in this little book. Now that the inspection is complete, using the specifications found in the Americans with Disabilities Act Accessibility Guidelines, we identify the barriers we found during our inspection. We then take this information to create an electronic report. Now it's time for a great cup of coffee after a long day of ADA inspections.